Okay. Okay, so tonight we have Corey Lee with us from More Than Walking. I am probably going to do an awful job at introducing More Than Walking, but their mission is to promote independence of those with spinal cord injuries with peer mentoring experiences and help from related healthcare professional. Oops, my grow lights just turned off. I have plants in here trying to keep alive through the winter. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so we have Corey with us tonight. He is going to explain what More Than Walking is and how we can benefit from their services. So go ahead, Corey.
Thank you so much, Megan, for the introduction, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to be able to present with what our organization is all about, the goals that we're trying to achieve, and not only how we can possibly be of assistance to people in your local chapter, but how they can also participate within our program as well and be able to branch out and help others, not only in their local region, but throughout the United States, as well as throughout the world. So yeah, my name is Corey Lee. I'm a C4, C5 quadriplegic from Connecticut. I'm the peer mentor coordinator for More Than Walking. And basically what my job is to do is take individuals who have found the pathway to independence after their SCI injury, no matter if you're a couple years in or you're seasoned, like some people may be on this call, and to help you partner with somebody else who may be looking for peer mentorship. And the reason why that's so important is because there's no better teacher than experience. And when you're dealing with a spinal cord injury, or you're dealing with maybe an operation that led to your SCI, sometimes we don't know which way is up from down. And we need somebody that can come alongside of us and kind of guide us and help navigate us. It may not be that they know exactly every single thing that we're experiencing, going through, but they may know enough where it can make you feel comfortable and realize that, you know what, it doesn't just end because I got an injury, and that there is a lot of upside that you can accomplish regardless of your injury. So what I want to do is just present a slideshow to you guys and talk more about the program. And at the end, if anybody has any questions, feel free to, ask away. And I don't know, what else you guys got planned on presenting and talking about tonight. We do also have a video. It's about 25 minutes on our website that, I would love to be able to show you guys tonight. If not, I can include the link to our website so that people can, take a look at it on their own time. And again, if they have any questions, they can reach out to me, and, I'll make sure I have my email within the chat log and whatnot. So I'm going to share my screen. If you see me turn my head to the side, it's because I have a trackball mouse. Obviously, I can't use my arm, so that's what I'm doing when I turn to the side. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, looks good.
Okay. Sure. Just get my notes. Can you still see the slideshow?
Yes.
All right. All right. Hi, my name is Corey Pheez, and I'm a C4, C5 complete quadriplegic in my 18th year post-injury. And I'm a proud member of a nonprofit organization called More Than Walking, where current or former patients like you and me produce online videos to share the path to independence after spinal cord injury with the world. Now, I know for most of us, if you're newly injured, it's hard to think about helping the world, right? I mean, we need so much help at the beginning of all of this, and that might be difficult to see that we actually have a lot to offer others who are experiencing something similar. This is me, a vibrant young man filled with high hopes about naval life, eager to seek out adventure. Sorry about that. Apologize, my voice activation cut on. This is me, a vibrant young man filled with high hopes about naval life, eager to seek out adventure and a willingness to serve others. Well, judging by this picture, and as you can imagine, behind the smile is a 22-year-old who at the time felt hopeless as the adventure he was embarking on had suddenly turned and made a drastic turn. June 12, 2005, while celebrating a friend's birthday, I and several others were enjoying a day out in Virginia Beach. After exiting the water, I approached one of my shipmates and asked him jokingly, "Do you see someone drowning?" Little did I know that in a matter of seconds, I would regret those words. I dove into a wave, believing the area was deep, and hit my head on the sand, snapping my neck at the cervical level, rendering me immobile from the chest on down and facing the prospect of drowning. As all feeling had escaped my body, I was now paralyzed. After being pulled from the water, spending 3 weeks in ICU, and another 5 months rehabilitating at a veterans hospital, I finally returned home. It was bittersweet. On one hand, I had gotten away from the liquid diets and the noisy gurgling of the ventilators, condensation tubes, to now traversing my old stomping grounds, no longer on my feet, but in a wheelchair. So many questions swirled in my mind, intrusive thoughts of uselessness. No one will ever love you romantically. Is having children even possible? And an overwhelming sense of worthlessness. Thank God hope isn't a physical thing like walking, and purpose is found in figuring out new ways to serve not just your needs, but helping meet the needs of countless others who may find themselves in a similar situation. And perhaps walking again isn't even our biggest problem. And the world around us doesn't always understand that. Yes, we have paralysis, but we also deal with issues affecting our sensation, nerve pain, bowel and bladder control, breathing, blood pressure, circulation, and sexual function. And on top of that, and I promise that this is going to be the last depressing slide. There are more than 500,000 new patients who experience all these challenges every year. Most die within 1 to 5 years in developing countries. 10% have access to assistive devices. 60% of adults remain unemployed, and the average lifetime cost of our disability for the 300,000 of us in the USA is $3.5 million. So, how do we beat those odds ourselves to regain our independence and maybe help others do the same in the process? Life isn't static. It's filled with fluctuating moments and variables that we can either succumb to or learn how to call an audible and modify our situation. When we make these adjustments, it's imperative that we showcase the change we've made so that others can see that your norm may be different, but your dreams can remain the same. In the end, what we really want is much more than walking. The relationships we create, the work we do, that's what makes us happy and gives us purpose. And it is now our job to show the world that it's possible. Still being in a chair, still waiting for the cure, still being who we are today. So, what does More Than Walking do? We make it possible to meet local peer mentors virtually if you can't meet someone face to face. We record and edit Zoom interviews and volunteers of every SCI type from around the world and distribute these videos online across the social media and to local hospitals. During the recorded hour-long interview, we ask questions that help illustrate each peer mentor's personality and experience. including difficulties and lessons learned in the past, along with their outlook and hopes for the future. We then edit the responses to become a short introduction video that is less than 10 minutes long. After the interview, we encourage mentors to demonstrate independent living skills they have learned, such as bed mobility, transfers, wheelchair skills, etc., on their smartphones for us to edit and publish online as well. Since 2018, we have published 108 interviews and 87 demonstrations, which have been watched collectively over 415,000 times by at least 2,025 individuals from over 50 countries. If I volunteer at my local hospital in person and show someone how I do a transfer, I can maybe reach a few people. If I still do that but record it, I can reach thousands. There are a few things that makes More Than Walking mentoring program and videos different from what you might already find elsewhere. The first is that each video is a lifeline where by clicking on a link in the description, viewers can contact us to connect with resources, support groups, or specific mentors. Secondly, there is no difference between a peer mentor and a mentee. We are all helping each other as we learn. No matter where you are in your post injury journey, your perspective and experience might be the most powerful example for someone else. The only requirement to volunteer as a mentor for the interview or submitting demonstration videos is that you live with an SCI or disorder and are genuinely willing to help others. Thirdly, once you are a mentee or a mentor, you become part of a community for support and advocacy. For example, we now host a monthly video podcast on various social issues and challenges to provide peer support while sharing disability perspectives with the world. These topics have ranged from poetry and mental health to LGBTQ issues and the war in Ukraine. Just because you have a disability doesn't mean you can't have a voice on other topics. To sign up and become a part of our growing international community of spinal cord injured peer mentors, just visit morethanwalking.com. There you can also find hundreds of other interviews and demonstration videos that showcase the possibilities for independence after SCI. You can also find us through your social media on your Facebook support group, Facebook page, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, email, and spinalpedia.com. We hope to help share your story and independent living skills with the world soon. The next time you're looking for something encouraging to watch, check out More Than Walking's film. We began as an award-winning 25-minute documentary directed by our co-founder, Jonathan Sigworth, who became paralyzed at 19 in a 2006 bicycle accident in India. Please visit morethanwalking.com to watch the film, or you can watch it tonight, which tells the stories of Jonathan and four of his Indian quadriplegic friends as they discover the challenges and opportunities of living with a spinal cord injury. The film also illustrates the philosophy behind the organization's name. And for me, that's pretty much what sums up everything that More Than Walking has to offer, and also the ways that you, as fellow SCI injured persons and people, that you can be able to help change the narrative for men and women who are suffering from SCI. Somebody's always injured consistently enough where they're going to always face challenges. So why not, you know, figure out different ways to be able to give back to our community that's given so much up already. Thank you.
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions?
I do. Um, is this all over the world? that your organization, or is it just in the United States? Or you said you're out of Connecticut?
Yep. So we are currently based in Stratford, Connecticut, but we are um, we've partnered with you know hundreds of peer mentors internationally. So because of Jonathan's injury happening in India, he had already witnessed so many different individuals who lack the care and the resources that we have here in the United States, that after he came home and completed college and what have you, he wind up going back to India and helping to start like a rehab program and talk with some of the many guys that he had ran into. We've also managed to touch base with people in Africa as well. We've managed to get durable medical equipment out to individuals as they have partnered with us as well. So yes, we are a locally based organization with international reach.
Okay. That is very impressive.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions, thoughts about the movie or anything?
I think it's pretty awesome that the people that Jonathan met with went on and continued to improve their community local to them. I think that's just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it it's not ideally what anybody wants in life, right? To suffer any type of spinal cord injury or disorder, but life is also about what you make it, right? And sometimes our expectations will never be met, but if we can somehow channel that energy into other people and make that type of investment, I think is worthwhile, because you don't know what the next person then becomes, right? So, I remember Martin Luther King saying, I may not make it there with you, in terms of this idea of a promised land, a place of unity, right? So yeah, we may not all get the opportunity to walk, but if we can encourage people to get more exercise, to um, try to drive after your injury if you're able to. Some of the things that you feel are lost, as far as your independence is concerned, they're not really that far off. You just have to modify the way that you do it.
Exactly.
Oh, shoot. I wanted to speak. I just ignored the phone ringing. Um, I would have muted this by now. That movie was so impressive. And I think American people viewing that, I think could be triply inspired by seeing how people succeeded where they have way less resources.
Right. Yeah. And that's exactly what we aim to do, especially through the peer mentorship, right? Because yes, here in America, there are a lot of things like, hey, you know what? I can go into a medical supply store and pick up underbed pads, or I need a wedge so that it holds my back up in the morning when I'm doing bowel bladder care, or even access to catheters, right? Some of the things that, you know, a documentary of this nature organization such as this, we want to bring those things that are lacking across the world to show that look what they can do with little.
Right.
Imagine what they can do with a lot. I know of a gentleman in Nigeria who makes his own condom catheters out of rubber gloves
Wow.
because that's the materials that he has. Imagine if there was something closer in proximity to him, then you lessen the issues of bed sores and urinary tract infections because, and these things are also less expensive on hospitals, right? If you give people the resources that they need, therefore, then they don't have to go into hospitals and then they don't have to worry about trying to repair these, stage 4 pressure ulcers and whatnot if they just had the Rojo cushion. But yeah,
Yeah.
people make do with very little, and we just really want to be able to show them like we show anybody else that hope still does exist post injury.
Well, it makes the world seem a lot smaller.
Indeed,
Mhm.
indeed.
I'm very impressed.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any other questions, feedback, thoughts?
Um, how does somebody contact you to do presentations to other groups?
Sure. So what I'll do is I'll make sure I leave my email in the chat log.
Okay.
And you can also reach out to Megan as well because she has our contact information. And we really desire to put the word out there in any form or fashion that it can be done on whatever platform is just extremely imperative. But yes, I will definitely leave those contact information details. So if you
Okay.
want to present that to your personal group or
Well,
anybody that would be willing to see it.
I have connections with 2 other United Spinals that I would like to share this information with.
Okay.
Actually, 3 other United Spinals, Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin. So I'm going to talk.
Hey, let's go. That sounds good.
Anybody want to play quad rugby now?
I remember when Murder Ball was a movie. I remember that. That was very put a lot of excitement in the air.
Yeah, I remember seeing that when like I said, I got hurt in 2005. And I remember seeing that, and one of the gentlemen that was playing in there, they were interviewing him. And I was frightened. Like, I was like, man, y'all crash into each other. I was like, I was like, that is a pressure ulcer waiting to happen. I don't even see how you're brave enough to do that. But
Is it
then,
appropriately named?
yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I was like, oh my gosh, these people are telling me to turn every 2 hours and shift your weight. And these guys are flipping out of their chair. I thought it was crazy until, like, as I progressed past my injury, I realized how important that independence really is. And that if you want to play whatever sport, even Jonathan jumping into the pool. And like I said, I was hurt in a diving accident. So I get choked up every time I see that scene because I I just I can still remember my first time going back to the beach and just looking around and just feeling less fearful and less timid about what the possibility of drowning could look like. It's like you die to these things only to live in other places.
Yeah.
Corey, I guess that's why we do those things that you're just saying that takes us a little past our own weaker points to get back to our independence, to do those murder ball things and to do those extra athletic things. And those things that are a little more scarier to us.
Yeah, you're right. For me, I'm a aspiring hip hop artist. So I rap and I record, and I've shot music videos, and I've performed in front of people, and it took some courage. It's like I was doing it when I was walking, but when you're walking, you fit in with everybody. Anybody can walk up the stairs and get to the stage, or anybody can adjust the microphone yourself. But when it's somebody holding the mic for you and the crowd is now focusing on you, all of those, oh, they're going to look at me. Yeah, they're going to look at you. So they have eyes. That's what they're there for. Put on a show. You know what I mean? And hopefully what you do will help the next person progress. And sometimes, that's what we go through. Pain is for others to progress.
Yeah.
And, if I'm that conduit in that moment in the situation, then I'm fine with it. That's what matters to most people, getting help. I see you got the guitar in the background.
I'm just trying. I've got 3 guitars in the background.
No, that's cool.
Don't let him fool you. Don is a theater performer. Lots of stage work in that guy right there.
Wow.
It's a lot of things that we attempt to do to get back to being normal. Yet we're still in our wheelchairs.
Yeah, and that's cool too. It's like, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool to see how people adapt. Like part of what I also do at More Than Walking is I write different like posts about various people within our More Than Walking peer mentor support group. And one guy I highlighted, a gentleman, he has a modified guitar, so it like sits across his lap, and he's a quad, high level quad like myself, and he plays.
Wow.
I think that's a tremendous challenge, getting the chords right, and you're making sure you're holding down the string in this form and fashion, but he's accomplishing it.
That's awesome. Where there is a will, there is a way. If we can
Yep.
modify it, we can do it. Absolutely. Well, Corey, thank you so much for presenting tonight and showing us Jonathan's documentary. He did just put his email in the chat. I will make sure to get that in the email when I send out this replay and up on our YouTube channel. So I